Volvo's impending three-line EV underscores calm, solace, and supportability. The main thing we notice riding in a pre-creation rendition of the all-new electric Volvo EX90 three-column SUV is the quietness. Dissimilar to a large portion of its battery electric rivals, during speed increase it doesn't pipe in a soundtrack that mirrors a gas-powered motor, or a retro-futuristic spaceship, or a turkey mimicking a theremin, ever and blessedly judicious. Volvo doesn't see the requirement for this sort of skeuomorph, similar to the flame-molded lights on an electric ceiling fixture or the screen snap of a cell phone camera, to assist our reptilian cerebrums with taking an innovative jump. With this vehicle, the brand is endeavoring to make its calmest lodge ever, so it was counterproductive to add sound result. This typifies the coherent way of thinking that supports Volvo's first, and significant, section into the electric three-line SUV market. The ancestor to this vehicle, the XC90, has for some time been the brand's leader, regularly competing with the moderate-sized two-column XC60 as of late as its blockbuster. In this way, while its entrance-level X30 EV is key for changing over purchasers new to electric vehicles, and to the mark, accomplishment for the EX90 is a first concern for the reality. LED Vehicle Elements engineer Matthias Davidson escorts us around the Volvo's Hollard demonstrating ground. He says the X90's brief was to be unsurprising, controllable, and agreeable, with a striking accentuation on the comfortable finish of the range. As our leader SUV, the X90 is expected to be the most agreeable vehicle in our setup, he says, as he shoots over areas of street that copy European cobblestone roads, LA Turnpike development joints, and the raised cast-iron thud clunk of New York City sewer vent covers. Another PC-incited double-chamber air suspension assists the X90 with feeling refined, level, and planted in spite of appalling landing area ailments. It displays similar qualities during little moves at fast, a sensation we experience when Davidson worms the wheel on Hollard's rapid track. An advancement of the single-chamber framework that has been accessible on the XC90 and XC60. The arrangement has an ECU that considers immediate responses to street blemishes. Coupled with hydro bushings toward the front and back pivot, it further upgrades longitudinal damping, balancing suspension crashing sensations. The 107.0-kWh underfloor battery supports bringing down the focal point of gravity and incorporating inertial mass, expanding the apparent feeling of security since, physical science. We focused on directional solidness and straight feel, Davidson says. We aren't driving, yet our cranial and gastric liquid dynamometers enrolled a prominent placidity. There are just two settings for the suspension, and the guiding, delicate and firm. Of course, given the vehicle's central goal, consistency is the default, and that is not something terrible. The firmer setting appears just to increment interruption, something the SUV's other 4, 5, or 6 travelers aren't probably going to appreciate. A stunt force vectoring framework, new to Volvo, unmistakably improves nimbleness in low speed or low foothold circumstances and helps in departure execution. In any case, the X90 doesn't crab walk or twist around and around. This is a Volvo, and regardless of that its old neighborhood has Northern Europe's biggest carnival, the brand dismisses large carny energy, topping of energy. We don't have the foggiest idea yet what the EPA will say regarding the X90's territory. However, Volvo is speculating around 300 miles for the most tight-fisted model, which has the 402 horsepower twin-engine all-wheel drive powertrain. Volvo gauges that variant ought to arrive at 60 miles per hour in around 5.7 seconds. The 510 horsepower twin-engine execution model, in which we rode, ought to stir things up around town a minute imprint about a second faster than that. However, reach will endure as needs be. The absence of joking go on in the lodge, where everything is introduced in a strongly Scandinavian present-day phrase. The illuminated twisted wood facade are Alvar Aalto-esque, mess is vanquished, and capacity is diverse, with canisters and cubbies including a frunk, a tote rack underneath the mid-control area, and a subcompartment underneath the back freight floor. The general impression, lodge and traveler compartment aspects, and, surprisingly, the outline intently emulate the XC90. This is somewhat of a disgrace, given the alleged freedom from planned show displayed by EVs. Particularly since Volvo insulted us with its heavenly idea re-energize a couple of years back, were we requesting an EX90. We'd select the top-notch dim custom-made fleece inside. However, this material is really made of woven reused polyester, part of Volvo's obligation to maintainability. Moreover, the calfskin choice is a sort of vinyl produced using pine oil and some other schmutz. Both look beautiful and breezy in the enormous windowed, glass-roofed lodge. However, assuming we were going for the phony calfskin Nordico, we'd choose the lighter sand tone. The dark looks some way or another modest. One thing we are exceptionally delighted to see Volvo keeping away from is the expansion of screens, which we believe isn't just monstrous yet additionally exhausting and unnecessary, since all travelers over the age of year and a half probably as of now have a screen in their grasp or pocket. A 14.5-inch screen in the center controls practically everything, including basic capabilities like changing the side mirrors and air conditioning, and opening the glove box and trunk. Our grumblings about this were reproached by Volvo UX specialists, who asserted that examination shows that minuscule touchscreen menus are better than hard fastens. We expect that their center gathering comprises exclusively of the Volvo UX specialists who fabricated the framework. Likewise, dissimilar to in the more modest and smaller X30, there is a demi-iPhone-sized screen over the directing section, the better to keep an eye on the driver. It consolidates a speedometer as well as Volvo's new multi-camera driver observing framework. This is important for the setup of lidar, radar, 8 cameras, and 12 ultrasonic sensors that team up to authorize Volvo's zero-accident plan for this vehicle. These frameworks are likewise essential for the brand's arrangements for the transitory beginning of independent driving. Locally available redundancies in the X90's robotized slowing down, directing, and power conveyance frameworks additionally exist in the dubious expectation that guideline, innovation, human reception, and social standards will ultimately consider driverless vehicles. These effusive frameworks, alongside the large battery, assist with making sense of the X90's 3-ton in addition to check weight. Basically, you can store energy in its strong battery cells and use them bidirectionally to control your home or electrical adornments. Try not to hope to have the option to kick off another EV at this time. However, Volvo representatives recommended that could likewise be coming sometime in the future. For the individuals who are not prepared to change to an EV, Volvo says it will proceed to deliver and refresh its XC90 however long interest perseveres. Volvo is known for well-being, stolidity, and, progressively, premium economical materials. The X90 is certainly not a driver's vehicle. Be that as it may, it succeeds at what it decides to do, which is give every one of the above credits in an attractive bundle. On the off chance that you're searching for a 3-line electric SUV to Goldilocks itself between a Kia EV9 and a Mercedes EQS SUV, while giving a mix of both, without the faceted retrofuturism or rich baroqueries of possibly, you might have tracked down your ride. Like most Volvos, it looks and acts precisely like a Volvo, and we support and value that. Seek out us later this mid-year whenever we get the opportunity to drive it for us and see what's going on with all the not uproar.